Tonight, we're remembering one of the most popular figures in St. Louis sports history. Former Cardinals manager Whitey Herzog has died at the age of 92. He died after a short illness, less than 2 weeks after taking part in the Cardinals home opener. The beloved Hall of Fame skipper from New Athens, Illinois, managed the Cardinals for 11 seasons, leading the Redbirds to 3 pennants and a World Series championship in the 1980s. Sports director Frank Cusimano is here with more on the man who brought us Whitey Paul. He will really be missed.
He really will, Mike. And all you really need to know about the popularity of Whitey Herzog is what happened every year at the bragging rights game. They would show governors, senators, and sports dignitaries on the Jumbotron. They would get modest applause. Then Whitey's face would pop up and the roar was incredible. He was one of us. He grew up here, he liked beer and hot dogs, and it didn't hurt. He was also arguably the best manager in the league. He also had great relationships with his players. Maybe not warm and fuzzy, but professional and fun. He put in his style, which was based on speed and defense, and he let them go. It's amazing how long after their careers ended, he remains friends with them.
Fished with him and hunted with him, but when you're a friend of Whitey, you're more of a psychologist just listening and observing and maybe asking a few questions within an hour if you can get them in.
Well, he didn't have many rules. He had 2 rules: show up on time and bust your tail when you're there. He just had that demeanor about him that you wanted to play hard for the guy. And so the clubhouse was like his sanctuary, so he could let his hair down and be himself in there.
Even in his 90s, Mike, every night he would watch Cardinal baseball, and when we would have him on radio or television, I felt like calling the DeWitts and saying, you ought to hire this guy, because he's still the smartest baseball guy in our town.
Right, and it was always, you learned so much just spending 15 minutes talking baseball with him, no matter what the era was.
Yeah, and he never lost his edge.
Yeah.
You know, he always had just a point he wanted to get across that maybe nobody else had brought up.
All right, we'll check back a little later. Whitey is survived by his wife of 71 years, Mary Lou, and 3 children, 9 grandchildren, and 10 great-grandchildren. The family released a statement saying Whitey spent his last few days surrounded by his family. We have so appreciated all of the prayers and support from friends who knew he was very ill. Although it is hard for us to say goodbye, his peaceful passing was a blessing for him. Whitey Herzog reached every corner of the community and loved to talk baseball. Our Laura Barczewski is live outside Busch Stadium. She spent time with a local baseball historian who was close to Whitey. Laura.
Mike, the newest generation of Cardinals baseball fans may have no idea who Whitey Herzog is, but a St. Louis baseball expert, Ed Wheatley, is making sure that this great man's legacy continues to be remembered and live on even through our youngest fans.
His roots in baseball are deep. His roots in our St. Louis community are deep, and I don't think he ever forgot it.
Baseball historian and author Ed Wheatley says from the beginning, Whitey Herzog loved baseball. The seed was planted in his hometown of New Athens, Illinois.
He wasn't Whitey Herzog then, and his first name's Darrell. This is the game ball from the state championship. They lost to Granite City, but it's signed Relly Herzog.
Later, he came into the name Whitey for his light blonde hair. Along the way, he watered those seeds of baseball knowledge as a player for different teams across the country.
Made it to the major leagues. That in itself is an accomplishment.
That eventually led him home to the St. Louis Cardinals dugout, where he blossomed into an incredible manager fans loved and the players wanted to go to bat for.
But when Whitey got here in 82, it had been a long time since there had been a World Series, and then he energized this town. 82, 85, 87, but he energized all of baseball with Whitey ball.
He retired in 1990, but didn't stop caring about the community and Cardinals baseball.
He communicated with people, and they loved it.
Making his legacy the perfect example for kids, detailed in Wheatley's book, Incredible Cardinals, and he certainly was.
And that's why it's important to study and know your game, and whether it's even a ball player or you're just a regular worker or doctor, stay-home mom, stay-home dad, whatever. You work hard, that's the moral of the story of the book. Then you can be incredible too. But it takes, and Whitey was one of these guys that became incredible because of what he did to learn the game and how he functioned.
Whitey's legacy certainly lives on here at Busch Stadium, in the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and of course, the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Our coverage of the life and career of Whitey Herzog continues now on KSTK.com and on 5+. You can stream our 1990 special, Whitey, The End of an Era, on Roku or your Apple or Fire TV.